Hey guys, it is Aaron and Ethan from 127 Airsoft, and so we have upgraded and added to our arsenal, and we've been getting some questions specifically from one of our 127 teammates about our HPA systems that we're now running, and so we figured we would do an HPA for Dummies type video. Now here's the thing.
We are dummies.
We are, you are. We are not HPA experts, right?
Oh, not at all.
We are also not Airsoft techs.
Nope.
Right? And so we are going to give you our HPA advice from just two run-of-the-mill normal dudes that enjoy playing Airsoft. So we're going to tell you things that we've noticed are pros for HPA, and things that we've noticed that are maybe cons for HPA in our limited experience with the HPA system. And so hopefully that is a help to you. So what you got?
Alright, so first let's start off with guns we have here. Alright, so we've got the Crytek SPR MK2, and this has the Wolverine Inferno Gen 2, and it is a Spartan edition. That runs you about $285. And that is the cheapest HPA system on the market right now. I don't know if anything new has come out since I bought it, but it was. So that's the Crytek. This is a KWA KR14, and I installed on this the same thing, the Wolverine Inferno Gen 2, and it is also the Spartan edition. So I installed that. If I can install it, I'm sure you guys can install it. I'm not very good with this kind of stuff. And so let's take a look.
And it works.
Yeah, it works, and it works well. We've had no issues out of it. And that's the most important part, and we enjoy it. So let's talk about what comes with it. So you get the solenoid, or whatever you call it. That's what runs the gun. That's what pushes the air out. It has a little nozzle. You can change it for like AKs and stuff. That will be a separate purchase. This comes with the M4 one, so I'm sure they have different kits. So you get that, and then you get like a grip line in your gun, and so that runs out of your grip. And then you'll also have to purchase a FCU battery, and that'll go in your grip because the wires aren't long enough to go to your stock unless you get the premium edition. I know they are. And so this just charges on a normal LiPo charger, but it's like a little mini Dean's connector. And this charges your trigger board, and you'll put that in. So you'll strip everything out of your gearbox, everything except for like one screw, and you'll need that one screw to put in the trigger board. And so once you get that in, you'll still need your fire selector on the back, you'll need your safety, and then you'll need your trigger, which was the hardest part for me to put in, which is pathetic. But so that's what you'll need in your gearbox. Everything gets stripped. You'll take your motor, everything out of your grip. There's nothing in there. All that's in there is your grip line, and like I said, your battery, and there's a wire in there to plug this in. So that's really all that goes in the gun. You won't really need to upgrade anything right off the bat. If you want to change the hop up in the barrel, you can do that. Whatever suits your fancy. So with the tanks, mine is a Ninja Paintball 90 by 4500. So it holds 4,500 PSI. And don't go by what it says on the regulator. Every tank comes on with this little regulator. It says it can go to 6,000. And that's on every single one. All of them says they will go to 6,000. Don't fill it to that. Fill it to what the tank says. So like mine's 4,500. That's 3,000. And so the 90 in front means that's how much it discharges. And this discharges 62, I believe. Yep. So it's a 62 by 3,000. And then you'll have to get a secondary regulator, which is how you change your FPS. And so like mine right now is set on 80. So if I chronoed, I'm normally around 400, that area. But it's different with different guns, different tanks, stuff like that. I know he has his set higher, and we're shooting around the same point. So all you do to change your FPS is you pop up on the tab and you twist. And so you can tournament lock it by putting it through there so that so fields are concerned that you're going to turn it up on field. You can't. You just put a zip tie through it. And so that works well. You'll fill it through this little fill nipple on the side. You can use a scuba tank. You can use like a cascade system. And so you'll want to fill it a little bit slow so that it doesn't heat your tank up and expand it too fast. And you'll watch the numbers rise on the outside. And so once you get it to the point that you want it, then you just turn it off and you're good to go. This little green knob up here is like a bleed valve. So if you have air in between your regulator, your gun, and your tank, you just bleed it off. Or if you have too much air in it, you can just bleed it off. And so this just unscrews, and it's just like just a normal regulator. And So that comes right off, and you'll see there's these 2 O-rings. I've actually had one bust on mine, and so I got that fixed. So it doesn't leak or anything. If you tighten it tight enough, it won't leak. But with the O-rings, it shouldn't leak anyway. So this is your regulator. And this is an AMP custom one. They have a lot out there. They have the Wolverine Storm ones. They have regulators that go inside your grips. It's really just what you decide to choose. Again, YouTube is your best friend on that. We aren't experts in any of that by any means. So you can get like player kits. So I believe this was a player kit, and it got the tank, which is an aluminum tank. Mine's carbon fiber, and you'll get the regulator, and then you'll get a line. So this is like a 36-inch line or something like that. I'm not 100% positive, but you can run that under your arm, over your shoulder, whatever you want it to, and it just kind of attaches pretty easily. It's quick detach, just right into there, and it's good. And then this side will go into your gun. It's easy.
Hook in right here.
Yeah, so it'll just hook in, and so that's really all you'll need. Obviously, you'll get the Inferno or the Polar Star Jack or the Polar Star Fusion, Mancraft, stuff like that. Whatever you guys decide, it really doesn't matter. I chose the Inferno just because it was cheaper. I've heard good things about them. You know, I like it personally. So on your tanks, you'll need a hydro. So the carbon fiber, it's every 5 years. They'll say it right on the side. It's from the date it was manufactured. So mine, in 5 years from now, when I bought it, it'll need to be hydroed again. And you can do that at like different shops and stuff. The aluminum ones I think are every 3 years, so that's something to keep in mind. But the carbon fibers are a lot more expensive. Mine was about $200. This was probably $75. So, but I mean, this is a bigger tank. You'll have more air through the day if your fields can fill to that. Most fields I've been to can only fill to 3,000 psi. And at least at Richmond Underground, where they fill it, it's $1 per 1,000 psi. So you know, it's not too expensive. But on the flip side, with an AEG, you buy a battery and a charger, and you don't really have to worry about it anymore. What you got with cons and pros?
So pros, you know, right off the bat, from what I noticed when we've upgraded this gun, the KWA, to HPA without upgrading the hop-up or the inner barrel, it did seem to add quite a bit of range and maybe even a little bit of accuracy. So that definitely is a pro. For sure. What other pros do we got?
Well, we've got, you know, the power. You can adjust your FPS to the field's limits. Unlike on an AEG, you have to change the springs and stuff. You know, that can get annoying unless you have like a Crytek with a quick change spring. You know, but it's still, that's just something you have to go through instead of just turning a knob and changing it.
Well, and you know, for example, just a couple weeks ago at RU during chrono, your gun was shooting a little bit hot, and it was just as simple as just a turn of a knob, and then you were good to go. And so, if you were shooting too hot with an AEG, if you didn't have a different spring with you, you're kind of out of luck. And so that's the nice thing with HPA. You can adjust it to different fields regulations. If a field has a lower FPS rate, then you can turn it down to meet that, or if they're higher, you can turn it up to meet that. So it's really an ease of the system, which I think in Airsoft is a big deal when it comes to, especially if you're traveling to different MilSim events or traveling to different fields, going to different things. Ease is a big pro.
Yeah. And so with the Infernos and really any other HPA system, you can change the fire rate, so you're shooting a lot faster per second, or you can slow it down. You can change your dwell, which has a lot to do with like your air and how much it pushes out and stuff like that. So that's nice, being able to change your fire rate. I've really enjoyed that. I try not to turn it up too high just so it doesn't ruin people's day when they get overshot. So you know, it's a fun system. It's a lot more fun than I had with an AEG. Maybe that's just because I feel like it performs better. I'm sure there's AEGs that outperform my HPA, and I am 100% sure of that. I've seen it. But you know, it's just, I've really enjoyed it.
So some of the cons that we've noticed, instead of just having a battery in the stock of your gun, you now have to carry an air tank on your back. And they're not that heavy, they're really not, but after a long day of playing, they do, you know, you feel them. You know, you're running around, and so any added weight can wear you down a little bit faster, and so that's definitely something that you have to be mindful of. You're carrying extra weight on your loadout. And I would say another con is you've got to be mindful of how much air you have in your tank. once you run out of air, you're out of air, and so unless that field has a fill station, you're out. And so you've got to be mindful of that. If you're going to a lot of different events, you got to have a place to go and fill your tank. It's not like just charging a battery. And so that's one thing to be mindful of. You also have to spend a few dollars to get it filled with a battery. You buy it once, and for the life of the battery you charge it, and you don't have to spend any extra money. So you do have to pay a little bit. It's not excessive or anything like that, but you do have to pay some extra money.
You're also connected to a hose, which can get annoying if you're running like a medic roll, or I've had people grab my regulator and it rips my hose out, and then I got to worry about putting that back in order to get back in the fight. So you're restricted, not too much. I run mine over the shoulder so it doesn't really get snagged on trees and stuff like that. But it's just something to be mindful of. You don't want somebody to rip this off and then break it, and then that's some more money that you got to spend. But I mean, it's not too big of a con that turns me away from it. So I really haven't had any issues. When I ran it underneath my arm, and I was getting stuck on stuff. But if you have those coil ones, I hear those are better than just these flopping around. So I recommend over the shoulder just for that ease.
And there's tons of different options for these. I mean, like, it's kind of crazy. You go on Amped Customs website, and there's like tons of different hoses you can get, different styles, different looks. So that's kind of, like anything in Airsoft, I think part of Airsoft's a fashion show. Like, you keep upgrading. It's like, keep telling my wife I have everything I need for Airsoft, and then I get on Amazon or get on some website and keep finding stuff. So HPA is the same thing. You can customize your air hoses and all of that.
Yeah. All right, guys. So the only other con I can think of is the cost. So with anything you upgrade it, you're putting a lot of money into it, but it's well worth it. So you're upgrading your tank and everything like that.
Your internals, your line.
Yeah. But in our opinion, it's well worth it. I hope you guys try it out. Take what we said to heart. Think about it. Do your research before you buy it. Don't do an impulse buy, because that's how you regret stuff. But we hope we can help some of you guys out. And so we're gonna do a quick shooting, shot, just so you guys can see what it sounds like, what it feels like, how fast we have it set.
Firing.
So we're gonna shoot the KWA and enjoy, guys.
There you go. HPA for Dummies.
See ya.
From 2 Dummies. Hey guys, so we're gonna shoot this so you can see what it looks like and what it sounds like. I'll do semi-auto first, and then I'll move to full auto so you can hear the fire rate and stuff like that. Here we go. So that's semi-auto. It's got really good range, it's good accuracy. I'm using .28. Now here's full auto. Make sure you listen for the fire rate. And that's it for full auto. Really, really quick. So in those moments I have to go full auto, I'll be putting a bunch of BBs downrange really quick. Thanks for watching, guys. If this has been helpful, make sure you give us a like and follow us on YouTube. Thanks, guys.